Sharon Ryave Brody, owner and president of Ralph Schugar Chapel, Temple member. Sharon, how are you doing this morning?
Hi, Rabbi. Thank you for having me. I'm doing okay under the circumstances. I am talking to you from home right now. I am in the office as needed, but right now I'm at home. So forgive me if you hear dogs barking in the background, but hopefully they'll cooperate.
You're liable to hear mine as well, or a child tromping above me. So you won't be the only one. We're living in a really difficult and uncertain time right now. And I'm curious what changes that you've made to your operations. How is Sugars impacted by COVID-19?
Well, we've definitely been impacted. I mean, we've all been impacted, but starting in mid-March, I think it was March 15th, we closed the building to the public and stopped meeting any families in person. I closed the chapel. I started with no services in our funeral home at all, mid-March. Um, all the funerals that we're doing are small, private graveside services out of necessity from the federal, state, and local mandates. We're meeting with families however they're comfortable, but not in person. So it can be Zoom, FaceTime, Skype, email, even texting, faxing, however they're comfortable is how we're connecting with families to help them plan their services. A lot's changed. We went again back in mid-March to changing the schedule, splitting shifts, trying to keep my staff as safe as possible so that not everybody is in at one time, only people are in as needed. So, and we're doing everything we can in the office as we are outside, like the social distancing, wearing the masks. They're wearing their masks in the office as well, wearing gloves, sanitizing all the surfaces that they touch. We're just being as careful as we can, and we always use universal precautions when we're handling deceased. So we're pretty well equipped with all the right equipment to protect our staff.
Right. So walk us through it. If I have a death in the family or in the congregation and I call you, instead of coming in to meet with you in person and to make some difficult decisions, we're now doing that over the phone?
Yes, we are doing that over the phone, just like any other time. People should call us no matter what time of the day or night, no matter what day of the week it is. We answer on Shabbos, we answer on holidays. You can always reach me or one of my licensed funeral directors, and we work with you. And again, whether you're more comfortable on the phone or if you want to see our faces, we certainly want to see our families' faces. This is such a hard time, but we'll do whatever they're comfortable with, whether it's phone, computer, Facebook, Skype, all those things that I'm getting familiar with. To help plan a funeral. And unfortunately, the funerals are much different right now.
Right. We're all getting an education in this technology a little bit faster than we would like, but you're doing amazing things to allow people as many comforts as possible during such a difficult time.
Thank you. Well,
So,
so are you. And I did see you at a funeral the other day, and it's comforting to see the rabbis.
it's an honor to get to be there. It's a shame that, one of the things that provides a great comfort to me and I imagine to many others is just the power of human touch, and whether that, if I know the family a little bit better, whether that's a hug or just a reassuring hand on the shoulder, and we're now separate and that becomes harder. I think I understood. So when we saw one another, we were at graveside, and I think I understood you to say that that's the only option for individuals right now.
Right now, it is the only option. The thing that we can do as far as a graveside, we've done it so far for just one family, is they really felt strongly about coming to the funeral home. They wanted to be able to follow the hearse to the cemetery. And I completely understand and respect that need. I think I think that can be helpful in this complicated process now. So we can have families not come into the building. Everybody understands before they come that the building is closed to the public. Unfortunately, that also means you can't even come in for the restroom. So you've got to come to the funeral home, line up your car, stay in your vehicle. But that way, families can follow their loved one in the hearse to the cemetery. But all the services are graveside, they are private. Because of all the mandates, there can be no more than 10 people total at the cemetery. And that includes a rabbi and a funeral director. In some cases, we're able to arrange for the funeral director to move far enough away or even to their car so that the family can bring a ninth person. But we work with each family on a case-by-case basis really closely, and with the cemetery officials to make sure that we're in compliance with all the mandates and to keep everybody as safe as possible. Along those lines, and maybe you were going to ask me this, but also some families are opting to live stream or to record the funeral service so that more people can be involved in the burial. We're able to do that and to help families, but some of them just want to do that on their own too. So that's an option too, to live streaming, if I mentioned that. So it's a way to involve more loved ones, family and friends.
Absolutely. And it's a really creative use of technology to enable people to be together at a time when we would want to be together. So I've been a part of 2 funerals with your staff, with you, one of which the family chose to use technology and one chose not to. How often are you seeing that? What is people's comfort?
Every family is different. So I'd say about 50-50. But, a lot of families they're spread out all over the country. They can't get here, even if they would have been one of the 8 or 9 people allowed to come, they can't get here. So that technology really allows them to participate. And I think participating in any way is better than not being able to participate at all. And this definitely complicates our grief. So being there virtually is better than not being there at all. It's just so tough right now.
It is. We have a number of people who are listening to this conversation, and I'd love to use this opportunity to let people know that if you have a question or something that's on your mind, if you enter it into that comment box on Facebook, we'll do our best to work it into our conversation. Sharon, you mentioned that there are, and of course, the Jewish community is more geographically dispersed now than ever. Family members are living in all different places. I'm curious about all of the restrictions that the state has placed upon us, or that we would be placing upon ourselves for the preservation of health and safety. How widespread are these? Are the rules in New York right now similar to Pennsylvania, similar to California, that distant family would understand? Are there struggles? Is this hard for families to accept?
That was a good question. That was sort of a long, multifaceted question. Okay, I'll do my best to answer. First of all, let's see. Things have changed and are changing so fast in our world. But when I speak with my colleagues, Jewish funeral directors and Jewish funeral home owners across the country and in Canada, the restrictions are all the same. Most of my colleagues, where they're able to, have closed their buildings to the public, have absolutely closed their buildings even to the Chevra Kadisha. They are providing small private graveside services. And I think that's like 9 out of 10. And I have colleagues in New York City who are just, my heart goes out to them. They are working around the clock. They are inundated. They are worried about their health and safety and their loved ones. It's just, it's awful. We're really blessed here in Pittsburgh that so far we have not been overwhelmed, and I pray that we can maintain this stay-at-home order and all these social distancing safety precautions that we're doing so that we don't get overwhelmed. And I mean, all of us, the community, the hospitals, the funeral homes.
Absolutely.
Did I
It
answer all
hurt.
of your questions in that
Yeah.
last? Okay.
I guess the other piece might be, how are families responding right now, right? I imagine there's both some intellectual understanding, but also just an outpouring of personal disappointment.
Yeah, the families are amazing because they all understand and appreciate that these measures are saving lives, including their own. So I haven't met any negative reactions to what we're doing. But again, of course, it complicates their grief. It does add a layer of frustration that they aren't able to honor their loved ones the way that they would really want to. And what we're doing in response to that is we are offering families, any family that we serve during this pandemic, the opportunity to have a memorial service in our funeral home or at their synagogue or really wherever they want with a visitation at no charge once the pandemic's over and it's safe to do so.
It's a really important consideration and something that I've been talking with families about, and something that would love to stay coordinated on, right? Is the unveiling period the time when we get families back together? Is it as soon as some of the social distancing restrictions end? And I'm sure each family is going to be different, but in many ways we're delaying some of those traditional markers of the mourning process.
I do want to say though, I know that a lot of families are doing Zoom Shivas. And so I think that's just such a fantastic creative way to help with the mourning process. I've seen many pictures of the Zoom Shivas like on Facebook, where lots of people are checking in to offer their comfort and support and share their stories any way they can right now. So I would encourage families to keep doing that until
Absolutely.
we can all be together again. I really hope that when it comes time for unveilings, Rabbi, that we'll be able to do those in person. But if there are, and there's unveilings probably coming up now, but they will have to be virtual for now at least.
That's right. And, I also commend people for finding creative ways to seek out community to be by their side in this challenging time. It's a wonderful in some ways, reinterpretation or reinvention of Jewish ritual. And in other ways, it seems to absolutely fit the prevailing ethos, right? If the period of Shiva is to step back from the everyday world, to get to spend more time in introspection and contemplation and remembering a loved one, well, in many ways that has been forced upon us, and we have that opportunity in a way that we might not if we were holding a minion service, but also feeling the pressures of going to work as soon as possible.
Right. There's definitely a lot more time to have a virtual Shiva call. There's a lot more time to attend services. There's a lot less excuses for why you can't make something when all you have to do is log on, which is a good thing. I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for your time and for all of the things you are doing to help guide the Jewish community through this challenging time. What else would you like families to know? Are there other things that they should know prior to reaching out to you, or just prevailing sentiments you want to make sure people understand about Schugars?
Well, I guess I want everybody to know we're still there. We answer the phone 24/7. You should expect to receive the same level of care and compassion and expertise that we provide all the time, whether there's a pandemic or not. We will do everything in our power to comfort and guide families through this time. Um, uh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to everybody that we're in this pandemic, and um, we're open to, we've been using the technology and trying to be as creative as we can in ways to help honor a life, because every life is so important, and every funeral is so important. But we also remain committed to being open to your ideas, because every family is different. And you've got our commitment that we're here, we're going to be here, we're safe, we're going to keep you safe, and just call anytime. And let's all just keep doing all these safety precautions and get through this, and maybe we'll get to meet for a happy occasion too soon.
Amen. Sharon Ryave Brody, owner and president of Ralph Schugar Chapel, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and it's good to see you.
Stay safe.
You too. You too.